obviously got a lot to do with the fact that this world selection had such a great outing last week in New Zealand against the Silver Ferns. They had a 3-test series, and the world selection won the first 2 matches. So you look down the court, and it is absolutely chock full of superstars. This team is so good that someone like Romelda Aiken has to sit on the interchange bench. The Australians have good reason to be nervous, and nerves are good. That will make them have a really good game.
We spoke to Norma Plummer a short while ago. There's Catherine Cox, the most experienced Australian player, taking the court. She's gone with her best possible lineup to start off with, and as she said, when you play for Australia, you want to win every game that you play. Yeah,
I was really pleased to hear Norma Plummer say that. Some people have been questioning whether this is really a warm-up game and the main game comes next week, but every time you pull on that green and gold uniform, you get out there to win regardless of who you're playing against. So don't be in any doubt as to how fired up this team will be. There'll be some nerves. There'll be plenty of desperation to win, though.
The girl that has just run onto the court last, Amy Steele, was alluded to before. She's only played 1 quarter in the ANZ Championship, and she's now in the Australian squad. What an amazing story. That is obviously going to be a star of the future, Liz. Exciting times. Time now to cross to our court announcer, Pete Laser.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the singing of the Australian National Anthem, Advance Australia Fair.
See another sellout crowd here in South Australia. They love their netball. They'll be very excited to see some new faces in the Australian side make their debut tonight. Renee Hallinan start wing defence, and you can see Sherelle McMahon get a smile on her face. Why wouldn't you? Her being fit, she's just come off winning the ANZ Championship along with Julie Coletto on screen, so they'll be feeling very good about themselves.
They will be feeling very good. Sherelle McMahon, of course, has captained Australia before through in the Commonwealth Games in 2006, but this is the first time since being officially appointed last year that her body has allowed her to take the court as captain. Tonight will mean an awful lot to her, as it will to Renee Hallinan getting her first up start. Jo Curran and Caitlin Blake also sitting on the bench hoping that they might get a run tonight.
Wendy Telford to have possession and the first centre pass. She made her debut for New Zealand last year. She's just played the 1 cap. But an experienced campaigner. To get us underway, finds Wilkins and Francis Salia. Here's Salia, who injured her calf late in the final series when everything went wrong for the Magic. So first turnover and a home crowd favourite here. Natalie Bomberto comes up with possession.
It's a great chase from Nat Bomberto, but Bronwyn Meek saying that the penalty wasn't set. One of those niggly little rules that just can turn the momentum of the game so early. Already just a couple of little errors. Oh, Nat Bomberto clutching at her hand. She's really hurt herself. She's a tough cookie. She doesn't call time and pull a pain face like that unless she's really hurt herself. She's had some finger injuries in the past, so hopefully she hasn't exacerbated an already existing injury.
And we've seen a lot of her this year, and she's not a player that certainly shows any sort of discomfort unless she's been hurt. Look at the replay now. So she's just tried to all look fairly innocuous, but she's holding her throat.
Yeah, around that collarbone area. Oh, you just don't know what's happening there. She's actually chased 2 loose balls really well. That's what Nat Bomberto's strength is. She runs and runs and runs all day, incredibly fit. Great defensive player, but she gets a lot of pickups simply because she runs hard at the ball. Looks like Sean Mungovern, the Australian team physio, is checking out collarbone area.
Talk about the sport being a non-contact sport, Liz, but after 12 months we've seen some great collisions, and that loose ball scenario, we have to put your body on the line. Natalie Bomberto does that as well as anyone in the game, and she's come off second best this time.
Absolutely, and you know that there are players out there who are really courageous and will get their head over the ball, and you guys talk about it in footy. It's the same in netball. There's a loose ball, you want to be known as a player that will be prepared to get out there and put everything on the line for it. Nat Bomberto is one of them. I was about to say that this world selection team have just cocked up the ball early. I'd expect out in this quarter they're just bedding in a couple of players. Wendy Telfer coming in at centre for Natasha Chocolate, who played for the world selection last week in centre. And Peter Scholes, a crowd favourite from South Australia, and the Australian team played at wing defence last week and did an outstanding job. Debbie White coming in for hers. There's a few crucial spots through that mid-court that will just take a little while to bed down.
We can hear what the South Australian crowd think about Nat Bomberto staying out there. First goal of the match goes to Latu, who dominated the world game over in New Zealand. Very competent shooter.
She was named player of the match in the first game. Shot 34 from 44. Really impressive.
Cheryl McMahon just cutting to the baseline with her speed, athleticism. Instant reply.
Yeah, equally impressive. Great screen from Cox, and McMahon with her speed will just exploit the baseline all night.
Latu having to go back into the mid-court. She's a powerful player, Latu, but she's got some speed and some skill, and she's kept Romelda Aiken off court tonight, so they obviously feel as though she's in good form.
The one thing that we've seen already, Latu won't be the only shooter prepared to go to the post. Donna Wilkins has already showed she's happy to take that long shot.
So 1 goal lead, early stages of the first quarter here. In Shuttleworth, got some news on how Nat Bomberto was pulled up from that night.
Certainly have. The Australian team physio has confirmed it was nothing more than just a heavy hit to the chest. She had nothing more sinister involved there. It was more shock, they say, than anything serious.
That's good news there. Cox's first shot had a good look at going in and just rimmed out.
There's great pressure already from the Australian front line. They work hard at this. Everyone from the shooter down gets their hands up and over the ball. And wear a team down as the game progresses, just having to work so hard to get the turnover ball out of the defensive third.
Sonny McClymont is such an experienced player for England. Played 85 tests for England. A lot of experience in this world team. Here's Latu, who's a Samoan, played 30 tests for Samoa. She's delivering very nicely early, 2 from 2.
Just watch Latu play. She's so strong in the way she holds. Susan Furman will just need to keep her feet moving around, try and put some doubt in the mind of the feeders. You're never going to push Catherine Latu off her mark. What you can do, though, is to force a feed that's not at the right spot.
Norma Plummer talking to us pre-game, saying that she's lost her defence end. Laura Geitz broke her hand at training. Bianca Chatfield, who's a walk-up start, she's got an injured knee, may come back for a couple of later tests against New Zealand. So an inexperienced defensive setup here.
Inexperienced setup, but one that really will be just busting to make a mark. Susan Furman played in the Australian side in the 2006 Commonwealth Games and hasn't got a look in since. So they're fit enough. They want to show that they're good enough.
Watching the match up there between Cox and Mentor. Cox wins out on that occasion and gets her first of the evening.
Debbie White already frustrated with the contact call she's receiving. She'll need to stay low tonight just to make sure she can stay in contact with Nurse. She's such a quick player.
Nice little fake there from Cox, and just went up and batted the rebound back to her. She must have made a mistake the second time round.
Well, Cheryl McMahon, the shortest person in the circle, gets up for that rebound. Such a strong competitor. Just a match athleticism.
Well played, Susan Furman. Came charging at it.
footwork call then. Australian team getting a little too far. Great chase then from Furman. That's where she'll pick up ball tonight, just keeping her eyes up, making sure she gets anything loose.
It's an unusual thing. At international level, that is the most basic skill in the game. You can't step. Why can we see that happen at this sort of standard?
Look, often it happens when teams just really get a run on, and it's a split-second call. Sometimes the umpires just see that foot movement happen. It doesn't happen a lot. Sometimes you do try and just get that speed going. And the twinkle toes get you in trouble.
So Latu breaking free. Will McMahon has got an interesting matchup on the climber. Both superb athletes. And here is the stepping call going against Lauren Nurse.
Just then, you just thought it was her back foot that got her into trouble. Caught the ball before she lifted that back foot on the ground.
Very swift movement here from the Australians.
It's a great start from the Australian team. They're starting to look slick. A really good start for them will give them a huge amount of confidence. They're playing against a team that has been battle-hardened against the Silver Ferns.
Wing defence, penalty pass Australia. Yes.
Sherelle McMahon saying that's the one, talking to shooting partner Catherine Cox into the game. These two haven't played together since they started the 2007 World Championship final. They're a formidable opponent when they get going.
Nice defensive work there from Susan Furman, who is the tallest Australian player. Stands 196 centimetres, so she's always a chance to get her hand on the ball. Rebound came up with the world team.
Donna Wilkins used all her basketball skills just to protect the space. Great drive there from McMahon.
Donna Wilkins, the other shooter, along with Latu, who played in the Commonwealth Games in 2006 in basketball for New Zealand, won a silver medal. He's also played at Commonwealth Games level 4 New Zealand in netball, so really talented athlete.
Just inside the circle.
There you can just see Latu holding so strongly. Spoke to Julie Fitzgerald today, who coached the world selection in New Zealand. She felt that Catherine Latu is just so strong under the post, particularly when she gives herself enough space. At the start of the series, she felt she was holding too close to the baseline. Once she stands up in the middle of that circle, though, really hard to stop.
3 goals and 3 attempts for Sherelle McMahon. And the best and fairest with the Melbourne Vixens was the player of the grand final.
Well, Julie Corletto, sorry, Luke, unlucky there giving away that penalty. She covered Donna Wilkins for 2 3/4 seconds.
Well played from Corletto, who Liz was just speaking about. She's fast, got her hand in.
Yeah, it's been really great watching Corletto and I was going to say Loughagan. Donna Wilkins' former name. Great to see 2 really good athletes just go at it hammer and tongs the whole game.
You really rate Wilkins, don't you? Sort of like to have a bit of a go at her because she hams it up and she's genuine drama queen, there's no doubt about that, but you really rate her as a player.
I rate her as an athlete. I think she's a really fine athlete. I also think she'll make a fine actress when she retires from netball. You know, you're not a good athlete or you are a good athlete, sorry, if you're playing, representing your country at 2 sports and representing well. Went very close to getting selected in the WNBA. So I had to question her. I just questioned her ability to deliver across a full 60 minutes. If you wear it down, she's susceptible just to fading.
Latu started well.
Contact, goal defence.
Very surprised that Ramalda Aiken, the leading scorer in 2009, the ANZ Championship, just sitting it out on the interchange bench at the moment. At the moment, the world team are delivering. They're shooting at 88%. They just trailed by 1 goal.
Well, Lauren Nurse did a great job to take that. She was off balance. She just needed someone probably running towards her and giving her an option. There she is. You can see that whole Australian frontliners, whenever they turn the ball over, they do everything to get it back.
Little hand in there from McMahon.
Possession centre.
Got a glimpse of that little competitive stare from Sherelle McMahon that she can turn on very, very quickly.
Contact, wing, wing attack, penalty pass. Contact, goal shooter.
Catherine Latu then just gives away a penalty for pushing off Susan Furman. If Susan Furman can just show the umpire a little bit of daylight between her and Latu, she'll pick up a few penalties like that. Defensively, you've got to put yourself in that position, though.
Oh, well played from White. He just got her toe offside.
Debbie White going dangerously close to picking up some couple of really nice intercepts around the edge of the circle. Just those long arms.
So 3 first quarter misses for Kath Cox. She's had 6 goals from 9. Well, McMahon just came flying through, nearly got a hand on it.
Donna Wilkins trying to show the umpire that Julie Corletto was being mean to her. Umpire didn't see it.
Renee Hallinan started well.
It's a great opportunity for Renee Hallinan. She's had a fine year with the Vixens. The injury to Monia Gerard has opened up that wing defence space. Given the way she's played this year, this is a great opportunity for her to cement that position. She's nice and athletic and tall. She could very well be the answer to Selena Gilson and that Australia are looking for.
Sawyer gets it to Latu. Doesn't put up too many from long range. She's going to have to on this occasion. And did well. Followed the rebound.
Furman doing everything right at the moment, just mixing up her starting spot. Standing behind Latu, then forced her to the top of the circle and into the long shot. That forces her into Furman's hands. She's so tall, she can get over the shot, become a nuisance.
A round down pass there from Corletto.
Goalkeeper, penalty pass.
You see Catherine Cox protecting Sherelle McMahon from the long reach of Sonia McClymont. The Australian shooters will work on that a lot through training, making sure they look after their shooting partner.
A little 2-goal margin here for the Australian Diamonds. Just under 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Sort of get the feeling that every time the Diamonds have looked like pulling away, this world selection has responded. It's not a test match for them, but there's plenty of pride on the line.
And Wilkins from long range, we saw her do that a lot throughout the season. And now, big opportunity here. Call going against Lauren Nurse.
Well done, Susan Furman. She's done that a couple of times tonight. Used the outside arm, got a tip to it, and that time she's chased it up well. Australians so quick down court.
Landing obstruction. Penalty pass or shot.
Watch Furman uses the outside hand, chases it up. That is absolutely textbook defensive play.
We'll have another look at it again. Last managed to get it back to Soler, so Furman applying a bit of pressure here at the moment.
Reset it, don't move off.
Susan Furman being told to step back. Clever play by Latu, just trying to draw Corletto in, set up for the pass.
Rebound up for grabs, and the world team come up with it through Donna Wilkins.
A couple of rebounds now for Donna Wilkins. She's so strong. She uses the feet to create lots of space to hold for the rebound. You see this world team playing New Zealand-style defensive zone.
Beautiful quick play. Sue McMahon just holding her ground. And she is going at 100%. The first quarter, she shot 6 goals.
Yeah, clever play from Wilkins, able to set it up just through delivering the ball, making the umpire blow a whistle.
Nice movement there from the world team to Wilkins, who's very relaxed in her shot. Started beautifully.
Great 1-2 play between Cox and McMahon. Haven't played together for a while, but they fit like an old glove.
you get a sense, Liz, that players were very keen to put their hand up with the world selection? Obviously, it's the off-season. We brought players in from New Zealand, Samoa, Jamaicans, of course, and English players, and they were all very, very keen to play.
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity to play against two best teams in the world in the Diamonds and the Silver Ferns, but you know, it's a huge feather in your cap. If you're rated as one of the best 12 remaining players in the world, it's a real honour to play. This is something that every player just loves the opportunity to do. Also gives you the opportunity just to get to know girls from teams who you would never normally play with.
Well, it's been a close first quarter. Whistle blows. The Diamonds lead by 2 goals, Liz, and as you predicted, it's going to be a competitive game of netball tonight.
Yeah, you just sort of get the feeling that both teams feeling each other out. Quite a high-scoring quarter. Not surprised at that. The Aussies back into the old firm of Cox and McMahon are delivering, but up the other end, Latu and Wilkins doing an equally great job.
Matt,
George, Gary,
Poe,
Justin.
the 7 p.m. Project Celebrity MasterChef Special.
5 Celebrity MasterChef contestants will be revealed in a massive 1-hour event. Live at 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Everyone appreciates the quality of San Remo pasta. And that quality makes the fresh pasta a natural choice when I'm cooking for my family. Because at the end of the day, a great pasta meal comes down to the quality of the pasta. So when you choose a fresh pasta for your family, choose San Remo. Because we all want the best for our family.
Discover Docklands. Take your retail therapy waterside. Harbour Town boasts 2 massive levels of brand direct outlets and specialty stores. Stroll around the open-air centre as you browse for fashion, homewares, gifts and gadgets. Recharge your batteries with a meal at one of Docklands' quality restaurants. Harbour Town Shopping Centre, under the Southern Star observation wheel at Docklands. Eat, shop, live. Visit docklands.com.
If children are intrigued by electricity in the home, imagine how excited they'll be by the spectacular lightning room at ScienceWorks. It creates real, gigantic lightning bolts. ScienceWorks. Serious fun.
Legacy kept their promise to my father.
Today, we look after 115,000 families. Buy a badge, and together we can keep the promise.
We're back to ETSA Park here in South Australia. Robin Broughton coaching the rest of the world versus Australia. Norma Plummer delivering some instructions, as you can hear, to Sherelle McMahon and Lauren Nurse in particular. Thought that movement wasn't perhaps going the way that they liked, but they've got a 2-goal lead at quarter time.
They do, and they established that nice and early. They started to move the ball beautifully, shooting reasonably even for both teams. The reason that this scoreline is so high is because neither team has pulled off too many intercepts. Plenty of tips, though, from both teams. Contact penalties are a little high. That will settle down. It was almost like the umpires in the first quarter just wanted to establish their control of the game, set everything up for a really great finish to this match. I would expect in this next quarter just for the intensity to lift a little bit. Both teams then feeling each other out, feeling out the new combinations. Now they've got that underway, expect everything just to ratchet up.
Here's Latu with possession, back to Wendy Telfer. We're going to get straight across to Ian Shuttleworth, our courtside commentator. Any changes at quarter time, Ian? Just had some trouble picking Ian up. We'll go back again, Ian. Was there any changes at quarter time?
Yeah, one very significant one, Luke. Natalie Bomberto has come off to have that chest of hers ice. She got that heavy knock in the first quarter, and coming on into the centre is Kimberly Green.
Thanks, Ian. So, just see Nat Bomberto getting some attention. It was a nasty knock that she copped. She played out the first quarter, but it's been replaced by Kim Green. So the first miss for Sherelle McMahon.
Step, free pass, outside. Come on, bring it up.
There's that call again, Liz.
Yeah,
it can't be that hard, surely.
Oh, well, you've played the game now, Luke. You know how it works. I was about to say, though, Sherelle McMahon's missed a sitter then. She'll be cross with herself. She had the perfect opening quarter.
She's just been bowled over at the bottom of our screen there by McClymont. It was a nice little hip and shoulder, Liz. And
yeah, Sonia McClymont is an outstanding defender, but if you had to pick one area where you'd like to see her improve, she gives away an awful lot of penalties, particularly when she's frustrated. Now, she will match McMahon. You can just see them there going one-on-one and doing a fantastic job. McClymont has forced that turnover, but she needs to make sure she doesn't attract too much whistle.
And that's what we saw at quarter time. Nurse and McMahon just speaking to each other a lot, saying we're not quite getting the communication right. That pass then just went behind McMahon. Renee Hallinan goes back and performs well. Gets the turnover. Here she is again.
She certainly does. The Australian team won't lose too much in terms of fitness or anything like that, bringing Kimberly Green into the mid-court. Every time Kim Green has got the opportunity to play for Australia, she's been absolutely outstanding. Was one of the players of the match last year in her debut series against England.
Which is why I was staggered before the game that you picked the rest of the world. Because when you get a chance to wear the green and gold, you grasp it with both hands, Liz, and you make the most of it. And that's what Renee Hallinan will do tonight. There's the shirt front from McClymont, and that's what Kimberly Green will be desperate to do. And they lead by 4 goals.
Now, Luke, if I've said it once, I've maybe said it 38,000 times. You've got to listen to me. I think that this world selection would sense that there's a great chance for them to upset the Australian team.
Another turnover
That's totally different to picking it.
From Shirley Coletto. Look at that movement. Oh, Sherelle McMahon. Look nasty. She's smiling, which is a good thing. Ian Shuttleworth, you've got some news from the rest of the world side.
Yeah, certainly at quarter time their coach Robin Broughton was hot on her mid-quarter, saying ball placement let them down in that first quarter, took it up in the second, or we could be in some trouble.
We saw her do that in the grand final. Liz stepped on an ankle, rolled it, got up and then went on to be player of the match. So just that can happen a lot, isn't it? You put your foot on someone else's and roll your ankle.
Absolutely. And Charlotte Marcus needs to be a little bit careful. Obviously, she wants to come out and win this game, but she's got a long international season ahead of her. Needs to be smart. Just use that great footwork of hers to get herself out of the situations where she may run into a body.
You know as well as I do, that won't happen. She'll go as hard as she can on every occasion.
Really important passage of play here for this world selection team. They have struggled to get good access to the circle in the opening part of this quarter. They needed to score there. This Australian team is starting to hit its straps. This world selection team must score here.
The Diamonds have scored the last 5 goals, so that hurts the miss from Wilkins, although Coletto just threw one over the head of McMahon, and Sherelle just sort of said to her, how about you get that a little bit lower? So just a little scrappy period in this match, another turnover.
Yeah, very scrappy, and often when this happens, it's the team that settles first and scores a goal. It's the team that will score a couple of goals in a row. You can see this world selection team putting in a really strong zone defence through that mid-court. Australia's good enough, though.
So I've got a timeout called from Wendy Telfer in the world side. And probably a timely one, Liz, because the Diamonds have scored 6 in a row and they've extended their margin. At quarter time it was 2 goals. And how many minutes in are we? We're only 4.5 into the second quarter and they've extended it out to a 7-goal lead.
Well, 4.5 minutes in and the world selection team hasn't managed to score. Wouldn't shock me if Robin Broughton took the opportunity to make some changes. Catherine Latu doing a pretty good job at the start. She really had Susan Furman on her toes, although I think Furman's now worked her out. Would it be a bad idea to bring your girl Romelda Aitken on? Something you'd like to see?
I would love to see that. Get her out there. Ian, what are they doing over there? Tell them, just go over, tell Robin Broughton you've got the best goal shooter in the business and she's not playing. There she is. Why isn't she on, Ian?
Well, a very good question. I think if I went over there now, she might slap me one in the face. But I can tell you that Wendy Telfer, it's nothing too serious. It sounds quite minor. In fact, when I say it out loud, she's having her little toe re-strapped.
Get over there and give it a go, and very uncourageous over there. Although, as you pointed out, that knee is got some strapping on, and I believe that she carried an injury right throughout the World Under-21 Championship League.
Yeah, played in the World Youth Cup for Jamaica. They came in third. Amazingly so. I really thought with her anchoring that front line that they'd be able to challenge the top 2 teams. Australia and New Zealand played in the final, and it's pleased me to say that Australia won that final by 18 goals. So really good things there coming out of the Australian junior program. Robin Broughton assisted by Lisa Alexander, who was also the assistant coach in New Zealand to Julie Fitzgerald, and would also feel at home here with the assistant coach of the Thunderbirds through the ANZ Championship.
So no change. I thought that the world team might have taken that opportunity, but Wendy Telfer stays on as Cox hits the deck. And come up with a turnover.
This is where Sonia McClamer really needs to step up. She's done a great job, got the intercept. Now she needs to run that attack line down.
Defence from Australia, superb here, forcing them back into the mid-court, nearly a turnover.
Oh, well done, Furman. She's proven to be a great match against Catherine Latu. She's getting pushed around, but she's giving plenty of her own back and getting plenty of the ball.
See Corletto then, how quick she was able to go from defence into attack. Speak a lot about how quick she is.
Sharon McMahon under plenty of pressure then. Gina Mentor did a great job. Again, use of feet, got around, able to attack the ball. Well, this is where this world selection have struggled, just getting through that Australian defensive work in the mid-court. With a player like Catherine Latu just holding so strongly in the circle, the mid-court really has to work overtime to bring the ball down to the edge of the circle. You can't feed the ball from the transverse line, particularly against someone like Susan Furman, who's just so tall.
Approaching the 9-minute mark of the second term, and that is the first goal of the second quarter of the world team. So it's a long time to get on the score board in the second quarter. Now, can they get a couple in a row?
It's sad to say Donna Wilkins has just lifted her work rate, but again, that feed fell apart simply because it was too far off the top of the circle. This world selection has got to work hard to get the ball down to the edge of the circle.
In Shuttleworth, it looks as though Nat Bomberto's left the arena.
Yeah, look, she's definitely no longer on the bench. I've just spoken to the team physio. She's complaining of some soreness where she copped that heavy knock to the chest. At first they thought it was quite minor, but she's complaining of some soreness. They've iced it, but she's gone to the change rooms to have a further inspection from the doctor.
Thanks, Ian. Sherelle McMahon in that typical hardball get, Liz, is what we call it in AFL terms. And I would back her against any bloke in that department. She really has a crack.
She certainly does. This world selection team is getting plenty of turnover balls. The defenders are doing a fantastic job, but equally are the Australian defenders. Renee Hallen and great sneak around.
Oh, Furman just went and just barged their way through. Well played. Wasn't happy with the turnover.
That transition play that often determines which team is the winner. The team that can transition not only from defence into attack, that's easy to do because you get that adrenaline rush. It's going from attack to defence.
Great play from Renee Hallen, and what an opportunity for her. Commonwealth Games in 2010, the World Championships in 2011. We know that Monty Gerard's probably had that position straight up for a while, but you get out, you perform the way she is tonight, Liz, and maybe she just rubber stamps herself in the Australian team.
Absolutely, she's had a couple of really good seasons with the Vixens. This year was a standout season. Catherine Latu, probably a bit of a schoolgirl error then, took the ball over the line, waited for the contact call, didn't come. Yeah, sorry,
talking about Renee Hallen, and I'm told reliably that when she was found out by phone that she was going to play for Australia tonight, she rang her parents. They burst into tears. They've got straight in the car. They've driven over here a couple of days ago to watch her play, which is a great story. It obviously means a lot to the Hallen and family.
Well, I think in any sport or in any family, if someone gets selected to do something like play for Australia, it's a real family effort. So it is great to see so many parents. I ran into Amy Steele's parents today, flying across from Melbourne. She was a late selection, but they wouldn't miss this game for the world either. So a couple of proud sets of parents here tonight.
Contact wing attack.
Diamonds led by 2 goals at quarter time. It's out to 8 now. So if the world team are going to challenge, you would think they would need to be close at half time.
Just looks like the movement in this front line for the world selection has just shut down. Wilkins did a lot of work early. Looks like she's tiring a bit. She's sitting back in the circle with Latu. Not a lot of options coming forward for this world selection. They've got to get that movement going.
So Lauren Nurse having to go backwards.
Contact, goalkeeper.
You look at this Australian line when they go backwards, it's simply to set up play, and there's lots of movement coming forwards, particularly through Nurse and McMahon. There's just not that happening up the other end.
That drops in there. 72nd test for Australia. This scores goal number 11. She'll be relieved to be out there. She rolled her ankle last year and only played a half in the test series in 2008.
Back beside her.
Well, unlucky then for Coletto. Did everything right.
Goalkeeper.
Bar getting her fingertips to the ball first.
Julie Coletto was tied for the Holden Cruise Player of the Year, the most valuable player, voted by Liz Ellis. Lost on a countback, and she was runner-up in the best and fairest as well for the Melbourne Vixens. So an outstanding year for her, and she's continuing her form again tonight.
And she really is the senior player down in that Australian defensive line, which is amazing. Only a couple of years ago, she was the debutante, made her debut against Jamaica in 2007. She's good enough, though. Having a great game tonight. Nice little run here from the world team. Only scored 5 goals in this quarter, but it's come in the last 5 minutes.
Opportunity now for them to get 3 in a row. Latu just goes through her hands.
Yeah, Catherine Latu didn't have to chase that one up then. That ball really came off Susan Furman.
Oh, Susan Furman just gets laid out. And well done, she got up off the deck, and Latu pretty happy with herself there.
Well, Catherine Latu again did everything right, protected the ball after she dropped it. It's great to see that this game means so much to these players. Everyone's trying to get their hands on the ball. Good little fight back here from this world selection team.
So it is 3 goals in a row for the world team. Have a look at this. So just got the hip and shoulder in.
Yep, proper hip and shoulder from Catherine Latu, we know about it the next day.
Kimberly Green, who came on for that Bomberto in the second quarter.
Oh, Jiva Mentor unlucky then to give away the penalty. Thought she did a great job just hedging around, keeping McMahon out of her comfort zone.
Jill McMahon's the leading scorer in the match, 14 goals, just the 1 miss. How long could Jill McMahon play for this? We mentioned the Commonwealth Games next year, the World Championships the following year.
Now, look, I think she'll at least play through to the World Championships. She'll be governed by her body. You know, she's had some problems with her knees. She still needs to nurse herself through. I think once she hits that World Championship year in 2011, she'll probably reassess. She'll be an old duck by then, well and truly into her 30s.
Furman a little stiff than I thought. Really clean hand on the netball.
And then a step keeper.
Bit of an underground pass there, Liz, a little unusual, but effective.
Catherine Latu, as well as being able to shoot and hold well, has got a great set of hands. Lovely and soft.
Well, team 4 of the last 5 goals, margin back to 5. We'll have to come up with another turnover here.
Tough to come up with a turnover when you've got that lady there shooting so well and being so competitive for the ball. Better movement then from Telfer. She's probably been a little bit guilty of just sitting and watching. In this quarter, I'd love to see her do a lot more work. Bring the ball down to a couple of fine shooters that she's got.
See Julie Coletto, they're working overtime to try and get around Latu.
Oh, great work, Jiva Mentor. She read that absolutely beautifully. It's great to see a goalkeeper just see it and commit to it. Be prepared to wipe out a couple of shooters in the process.
And Cheryl McMahon was equally courageous, going back with the fly of the ball, and there was a fair slap of bodies. We could hear it courtside.
Obstruction, goalkeeper.
Really important turnover for her team, though, Jiva Mentor. Really lifts your side. She'd love to see it rewarded at this end. Catherine Latu flirted with the 3-second rule. Susan Furman's got an absolutely superb lane. McMahon doing well there to get out of the way.
Contact, goal defence, penalty pass. Advantage obstruction, wing attack.
They're not prepared to put it up from long range. Pass was ordinary, but the contact goes against Kimberly Green.
Well, they need to be quick. Sonia McCloma yelling at Frederick to lead, get the ball.
On the ball, keeper.
Great clutch goal then for this World Selection team. It took them 4 minutes to score, but then they've nailed 10 goals in the last 10 minutes of this quarter. Really impressive fight back from them. We talked earlier about whether Robin Broughton would be tempted to make some changes, perhaps bring Romilda Aiken on, but Catherine Latu has played her way back into this game beautifully, has absolutely brought this game alive.
Get set for your weekend of sports tomorrow 7:30. The Moves, the Grooves, the Flunks, the Spunks. A primetime slice of all the sports that matter. Tune in at 7:30 for Thursday Night Live.
I grew up eating San Remo pasta, yet I've only recently discovered their fresh range. It's easy to prepare and has some amazing flavours. Find out more about the benefits of pasta at sanremo.com.au, because we all want the best for our family.
Where can you enjoy a genuine Italian meal with the whole family that won't break your bank? Right here at El Divo. Have a great Italian meal from as little as $10. And don't forget your children. Their meal is on us. Enjoy the food, enjoy the atmosphere. Altona Meadows, Camberfield, Port Melbourne, City.
Hello, it's Paulie here for Autobarns. Now, if you want your car to pump and flex, then get off the couch, because Autobarns has all your car needs, like Gurney high-pressure cleaner, just $99 for Father's Day. 1200 kilo trolley jack, $19.99. Kenwood 200-watt CD tuner, $97. Doof doof. And Armour All complete clean gift bucket, $19.99. You've got to go to Autobarns. They're #1 for Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Shelley O'Donnell. I used to run around a netball court for Australia. Now I'm a busy mum running around after 2 kids. So when I do have time to stop, I want to relax and enjoy my home, and Lorraine Lee Linen helps me do that. At a Lorraine Lee party, you can shop for beautiful linen in the comfort of your own home or catching up with friends. Australian owned and proud supporters of Australian netball and Australian women. Visit linenparties.com to discover how Lorraine Lee Linen can enhance your lifestyle.
Where can you enjoy a genuine Italian meal with the whole family that won't break your bank? Right here at El Divo. Have a great Italian meal from as little as $10. And don't forget your children. Their meal is on us. Enjoy the food, enjoy the atmosphere. Altona Meadows, Camberfield, Port Melbourne, City.
Meet Kat Cox's shooting partner.
She's lightning fast and sharp. A perfect fit for me. Together, we've won everything there is to win in netball. She responds brilliantly to my moves on court and protects me against explosive impacts. Meet my shooting partner. Meet my gel net burner professional. Everything I want from a netball shoot.
From the ASICS Gel Net Burner range, built from the ground up for netball.
To ETSA Park in Adelaide. A couple of big collisions have marked the first half of this Australia playing the World Selection. Australia, though, coming out on top. They have a 3-goal margin at half-time, leading 26-23. Been some great defensive collisions, been plenty of great play, though. As we take a look at the shooting percentages, no surprises there. Sherelle McMahon sits right up there at 94%. Latu, Cox and Wilkins, though, all doing a fantastic job. We'll have a look at the half-time match stats. The Diamonds just shading the World Selection in that shooting percentage. After a couple of donuts at quarter time for the intercept stats, the Diamonds have picked up a couple through Susan Furman and Renee Hallinan. In the rebounds, you'll see the World Selection smashing the Diamonds there through the work of Donna Wilkins. She's had 6 rebounds so far. Everything else, though, pretty even. Diamonds got out to a really handy lead early in that second quarter, but the World Selection have fought their way back. Nat Medhurst, Diamond's not playing tonight. How frustrating is it to sit and watch? Would you love to be out there?
I would love to be out there. It's fantastic, and I'm certainly looking forward to hopefully getting out on the court at some stage.
So you guys had a massive selection weekend a couple of weeks ago. An Australian squad was named. You were named as part of that squad, but Norma Plummer has made it very clear that she's going to experiment with this shooting lineup. You're unlucky not to get a run. What do you do now between now and the next time the team is named? You just keep training?
Yeah, keep training. There's no rest, so make sure I keep practicing my shooting and yeah, keeping up all those training sessions that we have to do, and hopefully when I get an opportunity I'm ready to go.
You had a great year this year with the Thunderbirds, fought your way through to the grand final. It didn't quite get your hands on the silverware there. Is it going to make for a tough off-season for you?
I think so. It was very disappointing with Thunderbirds to finish off the way that we did, but obviously to make the grand final and go a step further than the previous year was fantastic, but I'm sure our pre-season will be very, very tough.
You guys all fought really hard to be in this Australian team. This World 7 concept is a new one to Australia. Was it something that the players were really excited about?
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously very exciting, and the team that they've put together for this World team is very competitive, and it's, I think, good to be able to play against the different styles as well in the one team.
Well, thanks very much, Nat Medhurst. Good luck for the remainder of the season. Hopefully we'll see you on court for Australia at some stage. We'll be back shortly with the second half. The Diamonds lead the world selection by 3 goals. Get set, strap yourself in for an awesome last 30 minutes.
.6:30 Sunday. It's the moment Australia's been waiting for.
6:30 Sunday. Your top 12 will be revealed.
And they'll sing for you live.
The massive finals begin 6:30 Sunday.
Meet Kat Cox's shooting partner.
She's lightning fast and sharp. A perfect fit for me. Together, we've won everything there is to win in netball. She responds brilliantly to my moves on court and protects me against explosive impact. Meet my shooting partner. Meet my gel net burner professional. Everything I want from a netball shoe.
From the ASICS Gel Net Burner range, built from the ground up for netball.
Want clear skin like these celebrities? Then try Proactive Solution to help your pimples disappear.
I found this wonderful product in Proactive. I take it with me everywhere, and I feel happy, free, confident, and so lucky that I've been able to have clear skin.
I could definitely see the difference after using Proactive. My skin was smoother, softer, it felt good.
If it weren't for Proactive, I wouldn't have the skin that I have right now, and I wouldn't be smiling like I keep smiling.
If you want beautiful, healthy skin, try Proactive Solution. Proactive is a complete acne-fighting treatment that helps to clear pimples on men, women, teens and adults.
Proactive has given me so much, and I tell people this all the time. It's so liberating being able to go out and not have to care.
Now is your chance to try Proactive for just 2 easy payments of $34.95.
I was very surprised to see how fast Proactive worked on me. When you find something that you know works, you have to hold on to it. That was what I did with Proactive.
Pay by credit card, and not only will you get the refining mask plus the booklet Face the Facts, we'll also give you this great on-the-go spot treatment pen. That's $50 worth of gifts free. But hurry, this offer is only available for a limited time.
I don't get pimples anymore, ever.
It's not just the physical transformation, it's the way you feel. I'm so happy, and it's all because of Proactive.
Proactive comes with our 60-day money-back guarantee.
If it doesn't work, you can send it back. So actually, you're in a win-win situation here.
You'll also receive automatic shipments of Proactive every 60 days for just $34.95 per month. No minimum to buy, cancel anytime.
People come up to me and say, gosh, you've got beautiful skin, and they don't know what a massive compliment that is to me.
Proactive helps clear up my skin. So go ahead, do what I did. Just try Proactive. Call now.
Call 1300 551 772 or go to proactive.com.au.
Did you know that health experts recommend 4 to 5 serves of grain-based foods every day, which is why I enjoy San Remo pasta as part of my diet. Find out more about the benefits of pasta at sanremo.com.au, because we all want the best for our family.
It's half-time here at ETSA Stadium in South Australia. The Australian Diamonds lead the world selection team by 3 goals. Bit of a story in the first quarter. It was early on in the match, and Nat Bomberto, you can see here, she got the old sandwich, Liz, between two players. And as we mentioned at the time, she's not someone that shows any sort of discomfort unless she's hurt. She's since left the court, played out the rest of the first quarter, left the court, hasn't been cited since, so in Shuttleworth chasing up. If there's any injury concern there?
Yeah, normally when that happens, if you cop an injury and you come off the court, you'd normally sit on the bench and just watch the remainder of the game and really only go to the change room if something was really serious. So clearly something is pretty serious.
Second half underway. The world team trailed by 3 goals in. Shuttleworth, what's the news on Nat Bomberto? And we're having some trouble with your microphone. Are you with us?
Yes, I can hear you now, Luke. Look, the problem is what seemed quite minor at the start has become quite serious. She's been taken to hospital for x-rays. They thought it was just a minor knock at first and she complained of pain. She sat on the bench for a while. It didn't get any better. They're saying it's a bit of tension or pain around her sternum, so she's off to hospital. She's no longer at the arena. The other interesting thing that's gone on as this second half starts is, Luke, I know you're a big fan, but Romelva Aiken's still sitting on the bench for the world team.
Thank you, Ian. And another change for the Australians. Caitlin Thwaites comes on to make her debut for Australia.
Yeah, pretty exciting for Caitlin. She was selected in the Australian team last year. Didn't get a chance to get on court as Susan Furman. It's another penalty going her way. So she'll be pretty excited. Pretty nervous, although she performed really well for the Vixens.
Penalty pass on the arm.
In the grand final, was one of their best players, so she'll just be wanting to reproduce that form.
And she was very comfortable alongside Sherelle McMahon, their teammates at the Diamonds, and there's Thwaites just getting a hand on. So the world side have scored the last 4 goals in this match, the margin back to 2 goals, and they are all of a sudden right in this contest.
They're really struggling to get the ball down court. They're labouring, but they're just doing good enough, just finding their option at the last second. A couple of bounces have gone their way, and they're back in this game.
Obstruction, wing defence, penalty pass.
There's one of the underground balls from Latu.
Well, Donna Wilkins doing a great job diving on the ball. Comes up with the penalty. I wouldn't have thought Latu would have shot that. She was in great range. Although she's getting a total workover from Furman, who's doing a fantastic job moving her feet around, making it difficult for the feeders to find their target.
Been unlucky there, Julie Coletto. She came up with possession. Overway a penalty in the meantime, so the Diamonds all of a sudden, they need a goal. Thwaites, can she get her first one for Australia? In close range, she can. Breaks a 5-goal streak for the world team, who are keen to hit the ball moving quickly.
Great work, Kim Green. Great chase. Replacing Nat Bomberto with Kim Green is simply replacing one fine athlete with another one.
Well, McClamer just got herself into a very awkward situation there, and I thought she might have been clutching a knee, but fortunately she just slipped.
Just hear McClamer on court. She's got plenty to say, barking instructions to her teammates. It's really useful from a defender. You want to give your teammates some advice, tell them where to go, what to do. Catherine Latu has a really relaxed textbook shot. You just see Kim Green there. Absolutely chases everything down. Great opportunity for her as well.
Defensive pressure from the world side, just causing a little bit of indecision in the Australian team. I think they go back. So go to the gun in McMahon, and she comes up short. This is a couple in a row.
I imagine one of the reasons for that change, McMahon on for Cox, is the simple fact that Cox probably wasn't giving Coach Norma Plummer the sort of return she likes. She likes her shooting over 80%. Cox shot 11 from 16 at 69%. So she'll be looking for Thwaites to come on and go to the post confidently, deliver that shot with accuracy.
Renee Hallinan, have you seen her debut for Australia tonight?
I think she's been outstanding. Every time Frances Salia takes the ball, she's taking it under pressure, it bobbles around. She's really struggled to find some space. Everywhere Salia has gone tonight, She's had a shadow called Renee Hallinan, and I think Hallinan has really started to cement her spot in this wing defence position in the Australian team.
Diamond's shooting percentage down to 73%. And the third quarter efforts have not been great so far, so the world selection draw level. 5 minutes into the third term.
Causing centre, penalty pass, centre first.
Little precision acrobatics display there from Telfa and Salia, but the penalty goes against the Diamonds. Well done, Furman. Well done, Latu, to stay in the contest. It's been a really intriguing battle between those two tonight. It's like the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object.
So the world team hit the front. They led in the first minute and a half of the game for a short period of time, and then the Diamonds dominated.
You just got the feeling in that second quarter that the Diamonds were going to run away from them with the match. Cheryl McMahon showing all of her athleticism to keep that in.
Pass wasn't great though from Kimberly Green. She's back trying to make up for it.
Yeah, that's an example of just that feed into the circle being too long. You've got to be prepared to work the ball down to reasonably close to the circle.
Contact on the ball, wing defence, penalty pass. Contact shooter, penalty pass, Australia.
So a penalty going against Latu, which is a big call. The world team, 8 of the last 9 goals. And the Australians, the draw level.
The style of play that Catherine Latu plays is going to invite that sort of penalty. Great work, Kim Green, really patient. Just waited for McMahon to find that baseline. A couple of uncharacteristic misses, though, from McMahon. I was about to say Latu, by the very nature of the way she plays, going to cop those sort of offensive penalties. She steps up, she's really strong, she pushes and shoves. Most of the time, it goes her way.
There's a turnover stat. The world team 17 to 14, but it's the shooting situation that's causing Australia some issues at the moment. Shooting at 71%. Cox has gone off. Blakes is just finding her way so far. She's 1 from 3.
Not only the shooting percentage that's dropped for the Australian team, it's the access to the circle that they're really struggling with. It just looks like a couple of times players that run on top of each other, they're just not finding their rhythm, finding their way into the circle. They've just laboured a couple of times bringing the ball down court.
Important play here.
Sort of get the feeling with this world selection, if they get their tails up, they've got a lot of confident players in this team who will run it home hard.
Oh, well done, Hallinan. Came through. Patient build up.
Outside, penalty pass, outside. Distraction, goal to keep. Yes, sit beside the goalkeeper. Contact, wing defence, penalty pass.
Better movement from Quake.
Obstruction.
She needs to get on the move, get Juba Mentor out of the circle, get her thinking about what's going on. That will create space in turn for McMahon to get in and dominate that baseline.
Now 3 from 5, so just starting to settle in to the pace of international netball. Captain Thwaites firm and got a hand on it, but Latu
Contact, goal defence.
got the rebound.
Step down.
It's an important word, that, Luke, pace. One of the things that you notice as a player going from national league to international matches is just the game is so much quicker, so much more physical. The ball comes at you that much faster.
There's a right smile there from Cheryl McMahon, Juba Mentor, and again, this is a big play. Cheryl McMahon thought she might have got a penalty, but the world team have got all the answers at the moment.
Yeah, Bobby Brown's done that a couple of times tonight. The umpire up this end of the court. Allowed play to go. Although Sonia McCloma called for using her elbow, not happy. Big play.
Contact, Obstruction.
It's when Sonia McClamer needs to be a little bit careful. She can get expensive when she gets cranky. Just needs to pull her head in a little bit, start looking for the ball rather than the body.
Just over 5 minutes to go in the third term. The world selection team leads by 2, and that shot up short, rebound to Furman. So they need to convert this, and Hallinan has their arm yanked.
It's great defensive work over the shot from Furman. She's really got Latu thinking about the timing of the shot and the release. It's great to know in this third quarter she's got into her header a little bit.
The double lead there from Sherelle McMahon, and now her and Thwaites just really starting to get their rhythm going.
Yeah, that was a much nicer build-up. Good triangle play between McMahon, Nurse and Thwaites.
Pass came back to Kimberly Green. She took her eye off, didn't it? Hit her in the mouth.
Contact and offside.
Important miss there from Thwaites.
Contact, goal defence.
Susan Furman's done a really good job tonight covering Catherine Latu, really working the ground on her, taking rebounds like that. I'd like to though see her keep her eyes up, maybe go for that long intercept when that long floating ball comes into the back pocket. It made for the goalkeepers to have a crack at.
Beautiful transition play from the Australian side. And McMahon.
Offside, free pass.
Good to see, again, Bobby Brown let those sort of plays go. Just players going for the ball. That was the right call for her to make.
Advantage obstruction, goal attack. Contact, penalty pass, world.
Divers just need to make sure they stick to their basics at this stage of the game. When things go wrong, sometimes it's tempting to try and look to pull out the big play. That's when you just need to go back to your basics, do your little things well. Think about your footwork. Think about the simple pass.
Latu gets goal number 21. She's shooting at 75%. Centre pass with the world team. Oh, great play from Hallinan. Been an outstanding debut from her so far. McMahon just kept that beautifully into the third. So this is a big play. The pass from Green was okay in the end.
Good settler there from Thwaites. That's fantastic work, Renee Hallinan. Look at that elevation. Equally fantastic work from Julie Corletto. Gave her plenty of voice, backed her up. That Vixen's understanding there coming through.
Contact, offside, wing defence.
Nice ball from Nurse to Thwaites, who's now 7 from 10. Scores a level. Important couple of minutes in the match.
Diamonds need to consolidate here. They need just to keep this rhythm up. They've just started to find it.
Obstruction taken.
Just hear Bronwyn Mead then saying obstruction taken. The shot had to go in for Latu.
Advantage obstruction, centre.
Better from Caitlin Thwaites. She's out of the circle looking for the ball. Just creates that extra bit of space, but Sonia McClamer's having a fine quarter.
That wasn't a fine moment for Donna Wilkins. She was all on her own and took her eye off the ball.
Yeah, I would have liked to see her chase that a little harder. Oh, that was quick.
Kimberly Green just not having a great couple of moments there. Thrown one away. Held ball call against her.
Contact, goal defence.
Again, Latu using her size really well. So hard to get around. Sonia McClamer has long arms, and Kimberly Green's just found that out.
Just telegraphed that pass a little bit, and she was not hard to work out where she was aiming for. 40 seconds.
A little bit of niggle creeping into the game in the last few moments of this quarter. Both teams getting really desperate just to establish some sort of dominance. Diamonds have given away the last 4 penalties. Both teams are really going hard at the ball.
Been a big quarter from the world selection team. They trailed at half-time by 3 goals. They currently lead by 3. Kimberly Green, she's had a nightmare 3 or 4 minutes in this game.
Yeah, came on and played really well, but she just needs to settle into the match. What a great pass. Telford Alatu finished off beautifully. Vera has been banging on all quarter about how you can't feed the ball from the top half of the shooting third. Wendy Telford turns and launches one to finish off. That will hurt the Australians. They've fought really well to stay in the match. Yet they've just dropped their heads in the last few minutes to allow the World 7 to take control of this match. Really threw some great defensive work. McCloma and Mentor absolutely outstanding. Latu and Wilkins finished off beautifully to set up a 4-goal lead.
I want my life back.
His enemies have pushed him to the edge.
And the only way back is with sweet revenge.
New Burn Notice, tonight on 10.
Meet Laura Geitz's #1 supporter.
To achieve my goals in netball, I need the best support possible. He's been around now for 11 years and everything just keeps getting better between us. He's always there to protect me and provide the stability that I need. Meet my #1 supporter. Meet my Gel Net Burner 11, the most supportive netball shoe ever built.
From the ASICS Gel Net Burner range, built from the ground up for netball.
Okay, ladies, let's settle this. Who gets the last Mars red?
Same great taste as Mars.
But only half the fat.
Returning this New Year's Eve. Etihad Stadium, Melbourne, sensation. Tickets on sale September 9th, 2009. Be part of the night. Dress in white. Sensation.com.
I really enjoy San Remo pasta because it's great quality. Try it before you add the sauce and discover how good it really tastes. Find out more about the benefits of pasta at sanremo.com.au because we all want the best for our family.
Get ready for the big comedy Split Head. That's a little bit cheeky. Got to find somebody who is really going to make Gary jealous. See Jen in her naughtiest role yet. The Breakup, 8:30 Friday on 10.
Well, a massive third quarter by the world selection team. They won that quarter by 7 goals. And now lead by 4, Liz. And Robin Broughton very relaxed. Bit of work to do for the Australian team.
Yeah, she's a very experienced coach. Just look at the difference here in the shooting percentages. The Diamonds sitting at 73%, the world selection at 80%. The Diamonds have actually only had 1 less attempt than the world 7. What they haven't done, though, is convert. They've actually had 12 misses. This world selection team only had 7 misses for the match. That really is the difference so far. The Diamonds, just in that last quarter, did struggle for access to that shooting circle. Took a little while for Caitlin Faith to settle in. Once she did, though, a great quarter. Finished up 7 from 10.
Going to get it straight across to Ian Shuttleworth.
And one change for the Australians at that three-quarter time break. Green, as you mentioned, had a horror end to that third term. Has gone from the centre to wing attack, swapping with Nurse.
Thanks, Ian. First possession and first goal of the world team, so their biggest margin out to 5 goals. Take a very strong effort to get back from here for the Australian side. They're more than capable of doing it.
There's been plenty of moments in the Diamonds' history where they've fought back from bigger deficits to win games. In order to do that, they've simply got to do the little things right. Short passes, go for the easy options. Defensively, they're winning ball back. They've had 3 intercepts to the world selections 1. Just getting toasted a little bit in that rebound stat. Plays like this now So it's really important that the Diamonds team takes a deep breath, works it down court. They've got a really strong mid-court press to get through.
There's Renee Hallinan, who's been fantastic, just athletically working her way through the mid-court.
Connect on the ball centre.
That pass again into the circle, that was just a gift for Achieva Mentor. Just put it up there and said, it's all yours.
Yeah, Mentor doing well. Faked to go one way, ended up going back to McMahon. The World Selection team has scored the last 6 goals, had a blistering finish to that third quarter.
The Diamonds shot at 53% in the third quarter. The World Selection at 82%. That is the difference. Again, the start of the last quarter. He's all the world side. Latu gets goal number 28. Nudging out to 7 goals. Again, Kimberly Green.
This midcourt really looks for the Diamonds to be struggling. Both Kim Green and Lauren Nurse just coughing up turnovers. Just shows how important Nat Bomberto is to this midcourt. Just runs the show. I'm sure Norma Plummer will be sweating on the outcome of Nat Bomberto's x-rays. Another option for Plummer, of course, is to swing Hallinan into that centre position. She can do that. She's played there for the Vixens. It does leave a gaping hole, though, in wing defence.
Wilkins passed along the edge of the circle. Furman got a hand in. So it's time for the Australian side, if they are a chance. They really just need to start coming up with some big plays.
It's going to get harder, though, as this quarter wears on, simply because this World Selection team is looking really comfortable.
They've scored the last 9 goals, and once again another miss. Fortunately, McMahon was able to compete for the rebound. So this to break a 9-goal streak for the world side.
Yeah, great rebound from McMahon. That was a much better approach for the Diamonds. They just turn and gaze, turn and deliver. Timing was better.
The Claimer, as you mentioned, starting to really come into the game now. Nurse looks back at the umpire here, says, "You're kidding."
A clever play between Latu and Wilkins. Both of them have incredibly soft hands. They're just looking to set each other up. Like to see Furman and Corletto just talk to each other a little bit more.
So the turnover count relatively even. Diamonds 22, the world team 21, but I think broke that down in the last quarter. Diamonds are turning it over consistently at the moment. Well, I nearly get one back through Corletto.
Yeah, great work, Corletto. As far as she's concerned, this game is still alive.
Contact, centre, penalty pass.
The Australians can just mount a little bit of pressure. They're playing against a team that are not used to playing against each other. They don't know what they're capable of. So the Diamonds just need to start mounting pressure a little bit by a little bit, just winning ball back and scoring off it, most importantly. But to do that, they've got to start to get their hands on the ball, and that's got to start at this centre pass.
Barnage contact, goalkeeper. Barnage offside. Barnage obstruction, centre.
Latu and Wilkins really starting to get on top now in the attack circle.
Yeah, Wilkins got a second wind. She is running like a young player.
So a big challenge here for the Australian side. Coates in her debut, really starting to perform. She's shooting at 67%, but Nurse, Hallinan, Kimberly Green, all inexperienced players playing their first handful of tests. Renee Hallinan, of course, her first game for Australia Day. You don't get so many chances to represent your country, Liz. You've got to put your best foot forward. A few of them will probably be disappointed with their efforts so far.
Yeah, Renee Hallinan, I think, has done that. Inexperience with the Australian team is no excuse for a poor performance. By the time you get to to wear this uniform, you've got to be ready to step up regardless of who your opposition is. I think Lauren Nurse and Kim Green will both walk away just in the last 10 minutes of this game and think there's a few things that they could have done better.
Marnes past the Thwaites, intercepted by McClymber, who really started to dominate. Here she goes again. Hits it back.
McClymber and Mentor form a fantastic combination for England. The Australian team will head to England later on this year. They're going to meet a side who has a great defensive unit in these two. Interesting to note, Catherine Larkin was signed for the Northern Mystics for 2010. Donna Wilkins hasn't signed for anyone. Not sure if the Mystics are watching, but it wouldn't be a bad combination to put together in a club team.
We've got to build up. Thwaites just calling for the timeout. So margin 10 goals. We've played 7.25 minutes in the final term, and it has been all the world team. They've scored 13 of the last 16. The Diamonds led by 3 at half-time, but since then, they've been smashers, and I am very, very surprised. You're not?
No. I'm not surprised simply because of the talent that is in this world selection team. When you look at it, you've got the best defensive line from England. You've got a great front line from New Zealand. You've got a really solid Silver Ferns mid-court. You've got the Samoan captain in at wing attack. This is a team that's full of talent. There is something wrong if they can't take the game to the Diamonds. Diamonds, a little bit inexperienced, but as I said before, that is really no excuse for a poor performance. They really controlled the game for most of the first half. It was just that third quarter where things just started to fall apart a little bit. Just shows how important someone like Natalie Von Berto is to this team. Wouldn't surprise me if Norma Plummer took the opportunity perhaps to get a couple of her younger players on.
Late in the second quarter, the Diamonds led by 7 goals. At that stage, it looked as though they were going to run away with this match. Since then, it has been all the world team. We can see the rest of the Australians warming up. Catherine Cox should be disappointed in this. I mean, she only played halfway through the second quarter when she was substituted for Thwaites. She shot 11 from 16 at 69%, so that's not up to the standard that she would be hoping for.
No, it's not. Look, she missed a couple of shots early, and that's really hurt those statistics. I felt that she started to run herself into the game and opened up some nice space for McMahon, but Norma Plummer also will have wanted to look at Caitlin Thwaites after this match. Caitlin Thwaites actually leaves the Diamond team, and Kate Beveridge will come into her position. So Norma Plummer being true to her word and just using the opportunity to get plenty of players in and experience within this Australian team.
Get across the other side of the court, Ian Shuttleworth.
Yeah, they're in the wars tonight, the Australians. We've already had Natalie Von Berto off the hospital for x-rays on her chest. Caitlin Thwaites called that time out. She copped a knock to the knee. The physio checked it out with some ice as well and had a look at it. They'll say she will play on, even though it's a touch sore.
Here's the girl that he's talking about, Thwaites, in her debut for Australia. Scores goal number 10 from 14 attempts, so she's performed pretty well. Latu, who I surprised that Renata Aitken sitting on the interchange hasn't been required, but that's the reason why. Latu has been sensational.
She has, and thought early Susan Furman really started to get on top of her, started to work her around, but to her credit, Latu was thought a way out of that situation. You want to have players who are able to do that, recognise what's happening in front of them, change things up a little bit. She's done it well.
Obstruction. Obstruction centre.
That turnover, it's really starting to hurt Lauren Nurse. Cocked the ball up 8 times, Kim Green 6 times. You really can't have that level of turnover from your mid-court. You know, they do handle the ball a lot more than other players, but that is their job.
Lauren Nurse, one of Norma Plummer's favourites. She played under her in the RAS. Had a solid year for the Queensland Firebirds, and big chance for her tonight. She's played 9 tests prior to this match this evening. really good chance to stamp herself, but the turnovers are just going through the roof for Australia here. Here's Celia now to wide, and Wilkins crashing through.
Barnage obstruction, wing defence. Barnage obstruction.
So the big three tests versus New Zealand coming up. Sunday in Sydney, Wednesday to Melbourne, and then in Brisbane the following Sunday. So the Diamonds will go away from this match. They currently trail by 12 goals, and there'll be a bit of a rethink about maybe some of their players, and some of their positions will be back up for grabs.
Yeah, look, I think they'll have a pretty solid video session tomorrow. Norma Plummer, her strength as a coach is her tactical now. She'll have a lot of thoughts about this game. Knowing what she's like, she'll probably go straight home and watch it. She tends not to sleep well after a loss. None of the players will. They'll be worried about Nat Von Berto, but they've also been exposed in a couple of areas tonight. Cheryl McMahon comes up with a great captain's intercept. The Silver Ferns will be watching this game with interest. They didn't fare that much better against this world selection. They went down by 2 in their opening match, by 5 in the second, and they won the third. Just shows what a great concept this is more than anything else. You know, you're bringing the best players, the best in to play the two best teams in the world. You go a long way to see any better collection of talent on a netball court.
Must have been on the wrong path, but I thought the advantage would be with the side that plays together. I thought the Silver Ferns would have accounted for them quite easily, putting together players that don't really play together, but tonight they've gelled like they've got some great history. Obviously a lot of pride getting selected in the world side.
There is, but there's also combinations out here tonight who have played together and play together often. McCloma's just got a hit to the head, but McClona and Mentor, they're used to playing with each other. Telfer and Wilkins have spent plenty of time together for the steal. Lots of these players that have played together in squad situations before, particularly with the Silver Ferns. You know, there's plenty of little combinations out there in different areas of the court that have played with each other. What they have done well, though, is come together as a team.
An elbow to the eye there from McClona, who's had a sensational second half, Liz. A great job.
Yeah, surprisingly, she's got no intercepts against her name on the stat sheet, but she's been incredibly disruptive. Those long arms have been in there just making it hard. She has been well backed up, though, by Jiva Mentor, who I think is in the best form of her career. She's really blossomed playing for the Thunderbirds, just being able to play that level of netball week in, week out in the ANZ Championship.
Catherine Cox rates her as one of her toughest opponents. Well, it's a dangerous thing to do, I reckon, when you're still playing against someone, to let them know that you reckon they're good. Sure that you grow in confidence when you line up as she did tonight on Catherine Cox. Sure she would have read that and heard that feedback. Is that giving her a bit of an advantage?
Oh, not really. I think it's just telling the truth. So, you know, I think there's plenty of players out there who are ready to admit that, you know, there's someone who they love having a great battle against. Big difference, though, between saying someone's your toughest opponent and you expect them to give you a hiding.
I always thought you just don't give any sort of positive energy to your opponents. Been some positive energy tonight from the world side. They've really been impressive, haven't they, from half-time?
Yeah, they have been incredibly impressive, and the Australian team has got a lot of work to do before Sunday's match in Sydney, but good thing is they're capable of doing it. They've got plenty of cattle, they've got plenty of great players. There'll be a couple of players sitting on that bench tonight, Joe Curran, one of them, who would love to get the opportunity to show what they can do in this sort of company.
Barnage obstruction, wing defence. Contact centre. Penalty pass.
Wendy Telfer, who's New Zealand cap player, debuted for them last year. Played well in the centre. Here's Hallinan, I reckon, walk away from tonight's game. She should feel really good about her first up ever for Australia.
I think Hallinan and Corletto both had fine matches tonight. Corletto has absolutely had her hands full with Donna Wilkins, who has shot absolutely beautifully. Hallinan has been really impressive. She's one player who can look at tonight's game, and even though it's a loss, they're really pleased with her performance.
Kimberly Green still working hard. Just got it all wrong late in the third quarter, and she's had some real issues with her passing. She just seems to continually give the ball up. That pass just wasn't on.
A couple of times when you watch Kimberly Green, as Renee Hallinan just shows why she's one of the class players out there tonight. When Kim Green has turned the ball over, she's been off balance on a delivery. The ball, when she does that, often gets released from around about her hips. She just lacks a little bit of control when she allows that to happen.
So what are you saying? She's got to take her time, balance up, just get the obvious pass going right.
Yeah, balance the feet out. And often it happens if you're a bit anxious, if you're not playing well, you step forward, you step on, and you're really anxious to deliver the ball. She just needs to take a deep breath and deliver, because when she does that, she's got a great pass on her.
Donna Wilkins, who just rocked back, and she's so relaxed and consistent. She's shot at 90% tonight. Great effort.
Seen glimpses of that little combination between McMahon and Thwaites. I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot more of it tonight. They've had the whole year together. When it happens, though, it's really great. Great work, Latu. Furman just caught with her eyes down. And see Donna Wilkins pretty happy with that delivery.
Kimberly Green combining with Nurse, and again Nurse just throwing the ball away. Turnovers 29 now for the Diamonds. And Nurse and Green have been the worst offenders in that department.
Yeah, and realistically, that's a stat that you would need to keep around about the 20 or under mark at the most in a test match. A really good team when they've had a performance that they're happy with will sit around 10 or 11 turnovers when things are really working for them. So this Australian team will walk away and say that potentially wasn't our best performance. Cocked up the ball too much. Didn't quite finish off. Their shooting percentage a little disappointing as well. It is that midcourt, though, that will present Norma Plummer with her biggest problem, that centre wing attack position. Neither Lauren Nurse or Kimberly Green looked really comfortable in there tonight. The other component of that centre court position, though, that wing defence spot, I reckon Renee Hallinan has got her mitts all over that field. A fantastic performance from her. But what a great performance from this world selection team. They've played the two best teams in the world in the last couple of weeks and come up trumps 3 times out of 4. Great concept, and it's really worked.
Pretty impressive when you can afford to keep Ramel Rake, and then she is not even required on court tonight. Scored the most goals in the ANZ Championship. The stars of the game tonight's match was Catherine Larter, who played goal shooter. Ramel Rakin's position, she didn't let them down. She scored 32 goals from 41 attempts, 78%. And really caused the inexperienced Australian defence some serious issues. This season, Furman had her hands full. I knew the Australians were without Bianca Chatfield, they were without Laura Geitz, so probably their first 2 options in that position. We're going to head across now to Ian Shuttleworth, who's with Catherine Larter.
Yes, Luke, and she was one of the more dominant players on the court tonight. And Catherine, how was that for a polished performance from your side?
We didn't expect it, but we will take it, and we are very excited. A lot of us have never been in a team that have beaten the Silver Ferns and the Australians, so we're very excited.
And pretty handy when you can leave a player like Romelda Adkins sitting on the bench the entire match.
Well, she was always going to come on, and I thought she might. But we've all had a turn on the court, so it's very exciting.
And how do you find this world team concept? Is it a good one?
It is. I think we give a good game against the international sides, and we've come out with a couple of wins that were very unexpected, but we've tried really hard, and I think we deserve it.
Did you make it look easy gelling together, or was it something you had to work on quite hard in the limited time you had?
To be perfectly honest, every time we train, it doesn't look like that. So we're very happy that it came together on the night.
Thank you for your time. Good night.
Thanks.
Thanks, Diane. Catherine Larter endorsing the concept of the world team, so she should, because they beat the Silver Ferns twice. They've got one game against Australia, and they've won by 9 goals. So They've certainly proved themselves, and I'm sure we spoke to Norma Plummer before the game. She was dead keen to win, Liz, and she'll be very disappointed tonight.
Yeah, she will be, but she will go away knowing what she has to work on between now and Sunday in order to take on and beat the Silver Ferns. She's a really astute coach tactically. She'll pull this game to pieces and work out a way to put it back together. I think in that regard, she'll start with this mid-court.
Back across to Ian Shuttleworth, and I think he's with Sonia McClellan.
Certainly, and look, another one of the stars for the world selection team tonight, and we saw you cop that elbow to the eye late in the game. How does it look? How does it feel?
It's a bit sore, and I'm hoping I don't get a cocoa on my forehead.
What about the combination with you and G, the mentor, down there? You do it so well. You've played together quite a bit. It must make it easier when you're playing in a team that's thrown together at the last minute, but end up alongside her.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, it's been a long time since I played with Jiva. I think it's since February, so I'm glad to be back in the circle with her. I'm enjoying it, so it's a good thing.
You look like you're a lady that has a lot of fun out there, and you're mixing well with the team and having a good time. How much social stuff have you done away from the court?
We've done nothing. We've only been together for 3 days, so we've been doing a lot of team bonding and just enjoying each other's company, really. You know, it's only a short tour. We're not going to play with each other ever again, so we're making the most out of it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Certainly are making the most out of it. Very, very good effort from them. And as we mentioned a couple of times, Australian players had an opportunity to play for the green and gold. A few of them, I think, would have let themselves down, but not the girl who is with Ian Shuttleworth right now.
No way in the world. Renee Hallinan, your first game in the Australian colours, and a darn good job from you as well. How'd you find it out there?
Yeah, look, it was a really tough match, and it's disappointing that we couldn't come over the line and win it, but obviously I'm extremely proud to be wearing the green and gold for the first time, and yeah, hopefully against the Kiwis we can get those wins back.
We hear you have some very dedicated parents who made the journey across to watch you tonight.
Absolutely, they flew over this morning. My family are just wonderful support and have come to most of my games, so they didn't want to miss my debut, which I extremely appreciate, and really glad to see their smiling faces in the crowd.
From a team's perspective, what went wrong?
It's not so much what didn't go wrong, it's just every time we get out there we're going to build on those performances. So we'll go back to the training track and work on a couple of things, and just getting that transition out of defence and playing our own game rather than worrying about the opposition. So we'll be back and raring to go and get those wins on the board.
Thanks for your time. Hopefully it's the start of a long career.
Thanks very much.
I'm sure it will be. Renee Hallinan, she's had a sensational year and capped it off tonight with a brilliant debut for Australia. When we come back, we've got the official presentations and some more interviews recapping the scores, the world team by 9 goals.
Australia, we asked you to vote, not for some politician, but for the nation's top Aussie comedy characters.
Hello, kiddies.
7:30 Tuesday on